The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacey Sturm.
Kevin Kais.
Time for the 5 most socially awkward situations everybody has to deal with, Kevin. Okay. For the most part.
All right.
At some point in your life, you've probably found yourself in one of these horrifying social situations where something occurs unexpectedly, and it's almost impossible to recover from the awkwardness that ensues. We're talking those rare scenarios so awkward that nobody's ever found a good way to deal with them as long as people have been people.
Yep.
Coming in at 5, pooping in public.
Wow. I haven't done that since I was 38.
Not your pants.
Oh, no. I'm kidding. Wow.
Awkward.
I mean, wait.
This
hold
is
on.
Awkward. Yeah. No, just going to the bathroom.
I've never pooped in like outside before. I've pooped in an outhouse type.
Right. This is like just pooping in public in general. You know, like using a public facility.
Oh, that's socially that really.
Well, I guess for most people. But science tells us that 73% of the population poops. The other 27 we don't want to talk about, and it doesn't always go well. Isn't most people's nightmare diarrhea in public? Generally speaking, when you're at a friend's and you have to drop a deuce, you have that horrible moment of trepidation before you go in. And unless you're a social malcontent who enjoys exhibitionist defecation, most normal people have 3 major fears running through their heads. Time. Is this going to be a long-haul production? Smell. The laws of the universe dictate that if you go number 1, no one is in the vicinity. You go number 2, you're guaranteed to open up the door, and there's like 3 people that want to come into the restroom.
Yep.
And then you have the clog or the broken toilet fear. Possibly the worst outcome of all, and for a good reason. Clogging a toilet is the ultimate lavatory faux pas, and there's no graceful way to deal with it. The best thing you can hope for is to plunge it out yourself in hopes nobody hears what you're doing.
How do you plunge it out yourself, though, if they don't have a plunger? I've been in that situation.
Have you really?
Oh, you bet. Listen.
They got to have it somewhere. The problem is you don't want to ask for it, you know?
Well, exactly. And that's
if they don't have it handy, you don't want to... You're like, oh, God. But then you don't want to leave it, so either you're going to have to tell them. I mean, one way or the other, you're going to have to tell them.
Oh, yeah. I had buddies in high school that wouldn't poop in school.
Oh, I know.
They would hold
a lot of people.
that all day long.
You know, I don't think I did either. I just don't think I don't ever remember doing it. Or I'd use like a way back bathroom.
Oh,
you know,
really?
like in the gyms or something
Yep.
Upstairs? Like in the locker rooms or something when there was no gym class?
Just going to the deepest, darkest recesses.
To do it.
Wow. And see, in the same buddy outside of high school?
And I should say, like, the women's locker room, if you remember at BHS, like in the old gym.
Yep.
The door to the bathroom was just like right outside that gym. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
yep.
It wasn't like it was way, way far back, but very few people ever used it.
Because it was kind of creepy, wasn't it?
It was a little creepy.
And old?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the same buddy who dated this girl outside of high school.
Yeah.
Went to her place, had to pass gas,
Yeah.
and wouldn't do it. Would not do it. Wouldn't go to the. He went to the bathroom and wouldn't pass gas in there because he thought she would smell and it would sort of follow him.
Oh my God!
And he held that thing for hours to the point where he
was painful.
Oh yeah, he was
bloated.
In pain. And I'm like, dude, just let her rip. If you pass gas around somebody and they're offended by it,
that's probably not a good person
them.
for you.
I don't need to hang out with them. I want somebody who finds my flatulence hilarious. I want him to hear me passing gas and go, that's the funniest thing I've heard ever. I don't know how you make it do it.
Just giggle.
Because it sounds duck-like.
You do have to be around somebody you feel comfortable doing that with. I say the same thing too. I don't like to go like in public places.
Would you go here?
Oh yeah, like I'll go here because there's not a lot of people coming in and out. But like if I'm at like Walmart or Target or the grocery store or at the mall,
I don't. Yeah, I have problems with that.
Yeah,
I'd rather hold it.
Yeah. Or at a restaurant. Yeah, so it is true.
And it's not like a creepy thing for me, though. It's a comfort thing for me. I like to take my time. I need 45 minutes. half hour minimum to do what I need to do.
Right.
And I'd rather be in my own space than someplace else. That's the only thing. It's not like dirty. I don't want to,
Right. You're just like, what are people going to think if I am in this restroom for 45 minutes?
That I'm probably...
They're going to call help.
Probably smuggling things outside of Walmart. Up my anus.
Okay, here's number 4 on the list.
Okay, wow. We've only went through one.
What? Ill-timed erections.
Yeah.
If you're a guy with anatomy that currently or has sometime in the past functioned, you've probably had that moment that you needed to stay seated while everybody else was standing. And indeed, while you may be concentrating on your taxes or how so many people at grandma's funeral wore the same outfit, your equipment, however, can at any moment start playing out a porno series for itself and respond in kind. Best solution, if you're an average fella, is tuck it up under your waistband.
Yep. I am guilty.
That's been apparently the only solution that you could possibly...
Just don't tighten your belt then. But I've done it. I've tucked it in the waistband, which is weird because you think to yourself, well, there's a little portion of my manhood sticking out the top of my waistband.
Not if your shirt's
How weird
over the
would
top.
that be? You're talking to somebody and like your boss, and you're sitting at your desk, and your boss had to tuck it in his waistband, and he comes over and starts chatting with you, and you see a little part of the Darth Vader helmet sticking out of his waistband. That'd be weird.
I don't think anybody would go anywhere with it. But that is a picture. That's got to be like a Tosh 2.0 or Tosh 0.0, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's the third one. Pee spots.
Mm-hmm.
Losing bladder control is not just for incontinent grandparents. Even the best of us leave a little in the chamber before we holster our weapon from time to time and end up walking into a room full of people.
Oh, yeah.
So here's one solution. You got to get crafty and blame faulty plumbing. Proceed as usual to the sink because people who don't wash their hands after using the toilet are worse than hepatitis.
Yep.
Then just dump a good handful or splash it across your shirt and pants as well, ensuring that you totally obscure the pee spot. And now feign indignity and exasperation and work up a quip like, oh, you guys be careful of that sink in there. I went to wash my hands and it splashed up all over. Now it looks like I peed myself. You know?
Yes, and I realize I do smell like urine somewhat.
So that's about the best thing you can do about that. The next thing is awkward, gross people flirting with you. Here's the thing.
I've never had that happen. If you haven't had that happen, you're the awkward, gross person.
The downside of social interaction is the people that you have to interact with. Sometimes it's awesome and you're having a beer with Madonna and Prince or whatever, but then sometimes creepy people with nauseating overconfidence will express interest in touching you. They usually follow up this physical advance with something clever like, wanna bump uglies?
Ew.
Want a horizontal mambo? I'm a hell of a dancer. The short answer to this is to simply say no thank you and start the slow but essential process of clenching everything you have. But as any woman can tell you, sometimes no is not enough. The drunker and less infused with the proper medication somebody is, the more likely they assume that no means they just have not worked hard enough to seduce you. And perhaps more persistence or vulgarity is what they need to get the job done. So quick thinking is always good in a solution like this. Do you think you can vomit on command? If so, this would be the opportune moment.
Excuse me, I think I'm going to be sick.
I just threw up a little in my mouth.
Yep.
Okay, and then the last one. And this was actually a predicament I think we had last week. Parental sexuality.
Oh, no.
Yes. Obviously, your parents engaged in this at one point in time, unless you were a test tube baby. And even if you were one of those ultra-careful types who always knocks in this modern tech age, traumatic familial fun is more dangerous than ever. One unlabeled DVD or mysterious folder on your parents' computer and you're looking at pictures from last year's Christmas dinner could lead straight to a pillar of madness if you're confronted with digital evidence that your parents actually know what teabagging is. Your best weapon is your own scarcity. You can't be traumatized by trauma that happens when you're gone.
That's true.
Best to leave home early, schedule any return visits well in advance, and keep those return visits brief and cordial. Just said.
And don't look them in the eye.
Don't look them in the eye. So there you go. The 5 most awkward social situations everybody deals with.
And they are pretty accurate.
I think so too.
Yep.
All right. So there you go. Hey, coming up, predicaments. We just have one we're going to do today.
All right.
Before we wrap it up. And if there's something you want to hear today, email me, Stacy@urlradio.net. That's STACY @urlradio.net.